The millionaire celebrity Gary Lineker has had a bit of a meltdown over the introduction of Suella Braverman's new migration bill. Okay, here we go. Gary Lineker, you remember him? He's not happy about Suella, and he's decided to call any British person who believes in borders. He compared them to the 1930s German people. Yeah, 1930s Germany is the same as protecting your own borders. And he decided to break the BBC's guidelines. It's a fascinating story, this one. So Suella obviously announced her new bill in Parliament. We've already covered that, and we're going to be talking about that more on this channel as we continue to find out more about it. It's already a bit flawed, and we said we'll believe it when we see it. I hope it works, but again, we still have no confidence when it comes to the establishment. Having said that, if this bill and Suella as a minister is angering some of these people, including Gary Lineker, then maybe it's a good thing. So let's do a reminder. Gary Lineker is the media presenter on the BBC who gets paid £1.35 million a year, at least, just to insult the British public. Technically, that's not his job. He's supposed to be talking about football, but he also sometimes talks about politics, which is against the BBC guidelines, and he doesn't seem to care about it. And now he's going to be in trouble. Hopefully, something will be done again about him, but until now, he always got away with his shenanigans, let's just say. So, we have a situation with people like Gary Lineker. It's always the Garys. You got Gary Neville, you got Gary Lineker, who are always a bit of a problem when it comes to breaking the BBC's own guidelines. Imagine you're using taxpayers' money to pay a salary that is so high, more than, well, most of the cabinet put together, and basically pretend that he's supposed to be impartial and professional and just talk about football. So he tweeted, there is no huge influx. We take far fewer refugees than other major European countries. This is just an immeasurably cruel policy directed at the most vulnerable people in language that is not dissimilar to that used by Germany in the 1930s. So I'm out of order, you're out of order, the whole of BBC is out of order. So, yes, you're out of order, Gary. It cannot compare the 1930s Germany to a normal country that wants to protect its normal borders. Every country does that. Most countries do that, apart from the European Union members. And the countries that you guys have been supporting. You loved the Qatari World Cup. Qatar really love their borders. They love their flags. Japan love their borders. South Korea love their borders. Canada love their borders. So, apart from the US border. Even that has checks. Anyway, let's talk about this, because I have not interacted with Gary Lineker. I simply made videos on this channel about him. So, this could be a compliment to this channel, because he's decided to block me on Twitter. Why? I haven't even interacted, which means the reason it's a compliment to the channel means he's clearly watched the videos. He clearly watches the channel, because I haven't interacted with him on Twitter to anger him, to trigger him, to rattle him. It's for him to be upset, saying, my Tousi's being mean to me on Twitter, I'm going to block him. I haven't done that. I've only talked about him on this channel. So, Gary, if you're watching, thank you for watching. Thank you for the likes and the views. And try not to be a snowflake. You're a grown-up man. You're supposed to be an adult. Now, the BBC are going after him. Well, they've said they're going to go after him. They're going to have a chat with him. He is refusing to delete the tweet, despite the fact that the BBC have said that it's quite clear that the line has been crossed. So we're going to have a chat with Mr. Lineker to see what we can do about his misbehavior. In any normal company, in any private sector company, if you break the guidelines this many times, you will be sacked. You'll be on the street. I mean, with a very expensive tent or mansion, because you've got so much money, you're not going to be homeless. But the hypocrite that is Gary Lineker, who cares about compassion, he only cares about compassion and kindness and tolerance when it comes to people who agree with him politically. If you disagree with Gary Lineker, then you are the devil. So he's going to come for you. And he's going to give you names and labels. So we're going to do the same to him. That's eye for an eye. Anyway, let's take a break. We're going to come back in half an hour. Let's talk about this in half an hour. We have had the first proper SNP leadership candidates debates between Hamza Yusuf, Hash Reagan, and Kate Forbes. And we have a couple of interesting stories to talk about when it comes to that TV debate. I'm Mahyar, Tousi, and we are the media.